BJP Yuva Morcha is protesting over the quote-unquote alleged mismanagement of the Sabarimala temple. The BJP Yuva Morcha is protesting in Kerala. At the moment, you can see the police resorting to water cannon in order to be able to control the protests that are taking place. Pratibha joins us live. Pratibha, what are these protests all about? We are giving to understand that the BJP workers there are protesting over mismanagement of Sabarimala. What more can you tell us?
Well, in fact, this has been a subject that has been of contention in Sabarimala for the last few days. Unprecedented crowd that has been witnessed in Sabarimala, which has also led to the collapse of two people, one 11-year-old child as well. This has happened in the span of last 3 days. And cashing in on this is where you have the opposition parties, especially BJP, trying to jump into action and say that this is mismanagement of crowd, and to allow people, more than around 4,000 to 5,000 people in the 18 steps leading towards the sanctum sanctorum of the temple is also something that has never been witnessed before. And this kind of crowd, and the fact that there haven't been enough barricades put up, also not enough control over the crowd or the number of people to enter. In fact, when they realized that the crowd was ballooning into such large numbers, is when they realized that they need to put up a limit in terms of people who would be coming from Pampa to the temple. And just when they stopped people from crowding from Pampa into the temple, there have been a lot of resistance seen among the devotees as well. So it is in a catch-22 situation as far as the Kerala government is concerned, trying to cater to the devotees as well as relenting to the pressure that has been put up in the form of protest by the opposition. We'll have to wait and see how this will actually kind of recede in terms of the crowds hovering or thronging the place of Sabarimala, and to also ensure that there would be some kind of an action in terms of the limit on numbers that would be put up to ensure that people remain safe as well in a place like that.
All right. Also, what has been at the very heart of this entire mismanagement issue? What is the main demand of the protesters, and what has been sort of the reaction from the authorities?
Well, in fact, according to reports, we hear that around 88,000 devotees completed the darshan on Tuesday. The number of devotees who completed the darshan increased when more than 4,000 people were allowed in the 18 steps, and this is every hour that I'm talking about. And meanwhile, 1,20,000 people have reached Sabarimala on Tuesday. So this has never been seen before in a place like Sabarimala, as it is unsafe to allow these many number of devotees into the temple. This is when it took a political turn, as the BJP decided to ensure that this kind of unprecedented activities must definitely be managed in a much better fashion, and that is exactly why these protests have been organized, to ensure that the crowd management would be better handled by a government in Kerala, to ensure that, we are talking of an 11-year-old girl who collapsed while waiting for darshan and died at the Pampa hospital 3 days ago. We are also talking of another person who died day before yesterday. She was reportedly suffering from a heart-related disease. So these kind of people who have been thronging places like Sabarimala, definitely there needs to be a lot more control in terms of crowd management that needs to be put up. This is definitely a lesson learned for the Kerala government, to ensure that, and also when you put up barricades over there, pilgrims are jumping over the barricades, uncontrollable rush that is being seen. So we need to definitely ensure that there is a cap that is put up in terms of the number of devotees, not just from Pampa, but right before the place where it starts, where the action really starts in terms of the pilgrimage that begins and ends at the sanctum of Sabarimala.
But Pratibha, has this, we know that there are, thousands of devotees that throng Sabarimala every year. This is not a new story or a new affair. What has changed as far as the administration of the temple is concerned, or the tightening of the security situation at the temple is concerned? Could you put it in perspective for us? What has led to this chaos, or has there always been chaos? It's spiraled out of control.
Well, as you rightly said, yes, the kind of rush that Sabarimala has seen is definitely not new. But in terms of the management or the limit over the number of devotees is something that the Kerala government did not really take into action or did not really implement there much before anticipating the kind of crowd that would be thronging this place. In fact, following the incident, a meeting was held by Devasam Minister K. Radhakrishnan, who's also with also the president of the Travancore Devasam board, and it was only then that people got into meetings and trying to decide what kind of action can be taken, whether there could even be a booking system that could be implemented to bring down the crowd from, we are talking about 80 to 90,000 per hour that is being witnessed at a place like Pampa. So this is something that is unprecedented, definitely a lesson learned for the Kerala government as well as other parties that are working together there. And also the health minister saying that a special rescue ambulance which will be instituted there, especially after 2 tragic incidents that have taken place over the span of 3 days.
All right, tragic incidents over a span of 3 days, even the visuals that we are seeing on our screens right now, of course, point to the thousands of people, large crowds that have gathered over there. And, of course, this has now led to a spiraling of protests in Kerala against the, quote unquote, inaction of the government. But, break it down for us. Have there been any restrictions that have been put in place after these incidents that you've reported in the recent days?
Well, it's only after that there have been kind of restrictions that have been implemented. One that I was telling you about is the barricades that have been put up, and 2, in terms of restricting the crowd right from Pampa itself. All these days we have been seeing at least around 8,000 people being allowed to enter the 18 steps. So now there will be a cap even on that front. So these are the some of the restrictions that are going to be implemented, some already on its way, some already implemented. But they are also looking at other measures like the rescue ambulance that I was telling you, and booking counters that would also be looked into. So these are some of the things that are still in talks with the Devasam board as well as the Travancore. All of them sitting into action along with the health minister, trying to see if there could be any kind of caps or any kind of restrictions that can further be implemented in terms of restricting the crowd. And also to know that the crowd management is something that has always been handled by the government, but this is something that is definitely not been anticipated by any government so far.
Right. Any reaction so far from the government to these protests? What are you hearing?
In fact, the health minister did speak with a lot of ministers as well as getting into meetings and coming out and talking to the media, talking about the kind of restrictions that would be put up. But then extremely tight-lipped at this point in time because they are definitely in a catch-22 situation. But then what we hear is definitely from the opposition, who have been claiming that knowing very well that this kind of crowd is expected in Sabrimala, how is it that plans weren't really put in place? These are some of the questions that have still remain unanswered. These are some of the questions that are still being raised by the opposition to ensure that such kind of incidents would definitely not be repeated in the near future.
Right. Also, what's happening as far as the BJP Yuva Morcha protest is concerned? What's the latest? We saw those pictures of all of the chaos and water cannons being used, etc. earlier. What's happening now?
Well, what we hear right now is that the protest will definitely be escalated further, is what we are hearing from the BJP Yuva Morcha. All of them claiming that this is something that definitely needs to be put in place by the Kerala government to ensure that such kind of tragic incidents wouldn't happen. These are the kind of voices that we are picking up from the BJP Yuva Morcha. But then even the protest that were initially supposed to be a very peaceful protest has definitely not really gone down well as far as the crowd management as well as the protest management is concerned. But we'll have to wait and see whether the Kerala government would definitely put actions or measures in place to, one, placate the crowd at Sabrimala and to placate the opposition as well.
All right. Well, I just want to stay on with us, Pratibha. Just very quickly recap the story for the benefit of our viewers who are just joining us. BJP Yuva Morcha is protesting in Kerala over quote-unquote mismanagement at Sabrimala. Like Pratibha is saying, there have been unconnected, isolated, but incidents that have happened in Sabrimala, pointing out, to the fact that there has been ineffective law and order management in Sabrimala. crowd control hasn't happened after these incidents have happened. Now, there have been barricades, etc., that have been put up, but questions are being asked on whether these measures are too few and far between and perhaps too late, given the kind of crowds that Sabarimala sees. These numbers are anticipated every year. Why didn't the state administration anticipate and do more?